Dallas Stars, Pittsburgh Penguins, Kings, Flames, NHL player props, Hurricanes, Golden Knights, best bets, a lot of stuff to go over here on a Monday in the NHL on PuckTime. I'm Andrew, and I've got Buster with me, and it's just the two of us here on today's show to break down these games. Looking forward to a great show. We'll get all kinds of promotional stuff in there as well, and we'll make sure to break down all these games for you guys. Buster, I hope you had a great weekend. Good morning to you. How are you? And what are your thoughts on Stars and Penguins?
Well, thank you, Andrew. I appreciate you having me on a Monday. I'm actually headed to Vegas on Wednesday for a week, so I appreciate you doing that. And it actually worked out. I just want to give a quick word out to Carmine. Hopefully everything goes well with what he's got going on, and I'll try to do the best I can to make this show go quickly. And in saying that, Dallas, Pittsburgh. I see the lines roughly around 160 for Dallas, 6.5. For myself, I think there's a lot to like for the Dallas Stars tonight. To start, this is going to be the first home for the Penguins off that 3-game road trip. I know they do have a couple of days off in between. Problem for that with me a bit is that the Penguins were in a really bad spot Friday night, and they won anyways to beat Washington off that bad spot. So some of these bad spots have been going the other way this past week. We've been doing well the whole month of October. They didn't go that way. We have faith in that. I think it's just a few outliers with those spots on those 3-game road trips, on those 3 and 4 nights, on those 4 and 6 nights, stuff like that. And one good thing here, Dallas has owned the Penguins of late. They've won 5 of their last 6 between the clubs, and that includes last year. They won 4-2 and 4-1. They kind of dominated them last year. And even though I really like Dallas, I kind of don't like how they've been playing lately. I know they were overseas and they lost those 2 games to Florida, but they just, even the 2 games back, they lost 1-1-1. They just haven't looked the best. And I don't like playing teams, even in a good situational spot, that are laying 160, 165. Like, ooh, geez, I really don't want to do that. So because of all that I've just said to everybody, good luck if you play any of the side here. What I do like, I like the under here, under 6.5. I'm surprised that it's under 6.5, because if you look at these two teams when they get together, they play dead unders, and I mean dead unders. And some of those were even at 6. Now you get a 6.5. They're 9-1 to the under at 6.5. Dallas of late 7-2-1 the last 10 to the under, and Pittsburgh in their last 8 games they're 5-3 to the under this number 6.5. So we really like the under here, the under 6.5. Do like Dallas, cannot play him at this price. We just can't play him at this price. Bottom line, and like I said, Pittsburgh did play well in a bad situational spot for them before. So overall, Andrew, the best play for me tonight on this game will be Dallas, Pittsburgh, under the 6.5.
All right, looking towards the under 6.5 Stars and Penguins. And as you mentioned, Buster, the back-to-back games that they had, the Stars against the Florida Panthers over there in Finland, didn't go very well for them. One game was a little bit more defensive, and the other game it opened up a bit more. It seemed like no matter what was going on between those two teams, it did not go well. And that's got to be a bad feeling, right? I mean, you go over to Finland, you've got some European players on your team. It's kind of an exciting thing. But when it comes down to it, it's still 2 games. It's 2 games out of the 82 games you're going to play that you flew all the way over to Finland to lose, ultimately, and it was not successful for them. Meanwhile, the defending Stanley Cup champions went over to Finland. All their European players had a good time. They were showcased, and they ended up picking up 2 Ws. So, for this Dallas Stars team, I wouldn't use the word desperation necessarily for them right now, but their only win in their last 4 games has come against the Chicago Blackhawks, and they can't be happy about that because, well, the Blackhawks, let's just say they're not really in the elite of the elite by any means. But when I look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, Buster, I'm truly a believer in the fact that although a lot of the players on that Pittsburgh team aren't there from, the early days of Sidney Crosby. But you and I both know the rivalry the Pittsburgh Penguins have with the Washington Capitals, right? That's just always a big game for both of those clubs. Both teams get up for it. And it was an exciting one. It was an exciting game, and Pittsburgh pulled off the upset as, decent little underdogs in that game. I actually have a few different plays I like in this game, but I'm going to throw you off here with a little bit of the old-fashioned Buster special with a plus 150 in the first period puck line. I think it's a crazy good price. I really like it. I think we're going to get a laser-focused Dallas Stars team right now. As I mentioned, they've dropped 3 of the last 4 games. Obviously, they've only played 2 games since returning from Finland. It was the game against the Jets, best team in the league right now. And then, of course, the game against the Hawks. And, of course, they only won that game against the Hawks. Pittsburgh, number 1 in the league, or should I say number 32 in the league, in expected goals allowed on the season. Based on all analytical numbers, they should have the most goals against this season. Unfortunately for you and I, our Canadians have the most goals against this season, but the expected goal numbers are tilted in the direction of the Pittsburgh Penguins. So I'm going to look for Dallas. I just, one thing about Dallas that I really do appreciate, and you're right, they have not been playing well lately. I still believe they have a lot of depth. Like, they have 3 lines that can play. The coaching staff did a really good job of separating and spreading out the talent on that team. So I'm going to get plus 150 on the first period puck line. I like that one quite a bit. I also have a play up at WagerTalk in this game. But I'm really excited about today's slate buster, and this is one that we like. Under 6.5 for you, and the first period puck line for me. Buster, I'll go to you with this. Would you say that even though it's early in the season, do you agree with me that some teams and players get up from more games than others? I'm a big believer in that. When there's 82 games, there are games that are going to mean a little bit more to you than others. It's kind of like if the Canadians play the Senators or the Leafs versus they're playing the Minnesota Wild. There's certain matchups these players care about more than others, right?
There's no doubt about that, Andrew. Like you said, it's a grind. 82 games. Think of, and we talk about all the time. They're playing 3 games in 4 nights, and a lot of times that's on the road for sure. Now, and you see a perfect example. You see it like in the rivalry that we happened to lose the other night with Montreal and Toronto. But first game, Montreal, first game of the year, mind you, they win 1-0. They get totally outplayed, but there always seems to be people that step it up. Just like you say, Pittsburgh, Washington, big rivalry all the time, and Pittsburgh got the underdog win. It's just strange. Like, I'll even comment like this morning, Montreal Buffalo will play. Like, I think probably in the next hour and a half or so. Well, just if you look at that, Buffalo's like a huge favorite. Montreal's won the last 4 games in Buffalo. Why? Because they are a little bit of a rivalry, and everybody goes to Buffalo for Montreal fans. They all go to Buffalo to watch that game. So how does a team, doesn't matter who's on the ice or whatever, win 4 straight games in Buffalo, and Buffalo's laying 220? So to your point, Andrew, definitely these teams will, and it wouldn't surprise me if guys are in the dressing room saying, you know what, we've got Edmonton tonight. Okay, like we got, but we have whoever, Calgary the next night, and like a day later, and we want to beat them more because they beat us in the playoffs last year. I'm with you on that. There's I think that's a big thing. I think revenge is a huge thing. A lot of people don't believe in revenge. I do believe in NHL hockey. That's for sure. There's no doubt about it.
And I wish this game was like the next day after the Penguins beat the Capitals, but I still believe there could be that letdown factor, and hopefully the Penguins come back to being who we really think they are. And if that's the case, they won't score many goals for you, and hopefully they lose after the first period for me. But let's keep things going here and look at the LA Kings and Calgary Flames. I'm seeing minus 135 road favorites here for this LA Kings team. Total at 6, shaded towards the under here in this one. The LA Kings been playing some good hockey as of late. They've won 3 of their last 4 games. They easily took care of the Jackets. They lose to the Canucks. They beat the Wild, and they beat the Predators. Buster, overall, this Flames team, I think at the start of the season, they might have overachieved a little bit. But they're not horrible. I mean, they've got some talented players like Kadri, like Huberdeau. There are some good guys on this team. But I'm just not a huge believer in them. And I just don't think this team has enough depth to be able to get it done. I think when I look at the LA Kings, they're a team that has a lot of center depth, which a lot of teams would love to have. And our old buddy from the Canadians, Philip Deneau, well, he might not light the lamp every night offensively, but he's a good two-way centerman. So you just talked about an under you liked. This is an under that I like, and I don't necessarily like the Flames defensive core. I've been down on them all year, but they've kind of proven me wrong a little bit throughout this season so far. LA's off that big win against Columbus. I could see this one being a tight checking game between two teams that play a lot of games in the center of the ice, in the neutral zone, some physical teams. Hopefully they both stay out of the box. But when I look at the Calgary Flames right now and some of the games they've played, that 4-3 game was exciting for them against the Bruins. Unfortunately, a tough loss near the end. And some of these losses that they have had, they've been right in them. They've been losing by one. They're not being blown out by anybody. I'm going to take a look at the under 6 in this one, hoping for a tight checking game and a home game for the Flames where they've been a lot better as of late. But not my favorite game on the board by any means, Buster. What do you have for us in this one?
Well, Andrew, I cannot blame you for that under. That's for sure. I'm going to get to that a little bit later. But for me here, I really like the Kings. They're just playing really decent hockey of late. They're playing the way they should have been playing from the start of the season, what people expected, I guess I should say. They've won 3 of their last 4 games. And we just talked about situations and about, 3 and 4 nights with that Pittsburgh team or back-to-backs or 3-game road trips. Well, we have one here, of course. We've got Calgary in that first home game after a 3-game road trip. And for me, some of those situations might not matter as much as others. In this spot, though, I think it really matters. The 3 games for Calgary were East, all out East. All 3 games went to overtime. So they're tough games this Calgary Flames club just played. And unlike Pittsburgh, who's getting 2 nights off in between their home thing, what's happening with Calgary? They only get 1 night off in between. I think that is huge in this kind of situation. Just really like the spot for LA. Now, if you go with these 2 teams, the last 10 games, 5-5. They played 4 games last year, 2 wins each. But to me, the eye test situation screams LA. And last week, when I was on PuckTime, we had a very similar situation with Chicago coming home from a Western road trip, playing that first game. They actually had a couple days off. And we actually said on the show, our best play for the night, which I will be saying here, our best play for the show and for the night, we said we'd take Detroit. And Detroit did win quite handily, which was nice. I'm looking forward to the same thing here. I think LA, because of the situation, because of the way LA's been playing, and also I just really think it's a way worse situation for Calgary than it normally would be. So I am going to have a 4% play on the LA Kings. I'm giving it out here free like I did the last time I was on the show. So hopefully history will repeat itself and we can cash again. As for
Good
the total
karma.
that you're betting under, well, we'll give it a try.
I like it.
Yeah. Andrew, as for that total that you're betting under, I was looking at the total as well, of course. And truthfully, I can't say a lean either way. These 2 teams, just like you said, they play unders, they play overs. Last year at 6, they had 2 pushes, 1 over, 1 under. So again, it's a very tough total. I don't blame anybody for betting it under, and I can see if somebody wants to bet it over. Truthfully, I would lean under, but I really want no part of that. Really, really like LA tonight. That's for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. You know what, Buster? You're right about the fatigue that Calgary should have
Oh
should
yeah.
certainly be there right now. I mean, it's a great handicap. It's a good spot there. And I was a little bit surprised by the number really in this one. I mean, again, the
Yeah.
Flames, I don't like the Flames at all, really. I don't think they're that good of a team. I think they lack depth, and I think a team like the Kings could swallow them up. So I do think on a large scale, although the Kings have had some games where they've put some goals on the board, on a large scale, the Kings, I still think correlate to the under. I truly believe it. I mean, they're a team that can beat teams low scoring. They can get the lead. They can sit back. They can protect it, and they can win these low scoring games. So hopefully we can both get a winner there. Guys, we appreciate everybody who's with us right now in the live chat. It is bumping. Of course, we appreciate you guys that tune in afterwards as well. All the likes, all the comments. Try and run those likes up for us. Let's try and get to 300 likes on today's video. That would really help us out quite a bit. We got Jeff, we got Chris, we got DP, we got Jake. We have so many people in here in the live chat on PuckTime, and it truly does mean a lot to us. Both Buster and I appreciate it, and hopefully we can all make some money tonight in the NHL. Let's get to a few props
Andrew?
in the.
Andrew,
Yep,
can I
go
just
ahead, Buster.
interrupt you for a quick second there?
Course,
I know I'm sitting here with just with Carmine in Carmine's spot or whatever, and I know he's very active in the live chat. I've probably said this years ago, but I just don't. I leave a couple windows open here. We all know from years and years past how much trouble I sometimes have with my Mexican Wi-Fi. So that's why if people I see all the time, people ask me questions. Go to my Twitter, DM me, I'll answer. But I don't get involved in that live chat at all. Sorry about that, guys. Just trying to concentrate on the games, and I really want to concentrate on what Andrew's got for these props coming right up here.
I appreciate it, Buster, and I find it hard to do it as well because once you get in there, you want to start chatting with the guys, and then once you start chatting with them, it's hard to get back to the show. But let's get to the prop playbook segment, guys. I just have two props for you on this Monday NHL slate. Before I get to those props, we have a promo code for this week. On a 7-2 NHL run, we had a 5% play last week. We had a winning weekend. We have promo code NHL 150 will take $150 off the full entire NHL season plus the playoffs. Sides, totals, team totals, props, futures, anything I release, guys, you will get in this package. So if you've been buying my 5% plays, if you've been buying my packages at all in the NHL, this week is a good week to join me. All access, every single NHL play, $150 off with the code NHL 150. All right, let's start with the first player prop, and it's going to be on a Dallas Star player, Logan Stankoven, over 2.5 shots on goal. Of course, he's playing against the Pittsburgh Penguins, and as I mentioned on today's PuckTime show, the Pittsburgh Penguins are the bottom team in the league as far as the expected goals allowed statistic. They are giving up chances every game. They're giving up goals. They are very weak at the defensive position, and the Dallas Stars are very hungry, losing 3 of the last 4 games. Stankoven has gone over 2.5 shots on goal in 4 straight away games. Some guys play better at home. Some guys play better on the road. Stankoven over at plus money is a really good price here, over 2.5 shots on goal for him. All right, let's go back to the LA Kings game. We talked about that one on PuckTime as well. LA Kings versus the Calgary Flames. I'm going to take a look at Trevor Moore to record a point at minus 110. This guy continues to be underrated. This guy continues to be forgotten about in the player prop market. He has gone over this number in 4 straight games. In 6 of his last 7 games, he has gotten at least a point for the LA Kings. It's an advantageous spot for them. It's a good situational spot. Even though they're on the road, the Flames have been doing a lot more traveling lately, and it should be a good game for the Kings. And Trevor Moore to get a point is just at the minus 110 number. You got to love that price. So, guys, less is more. We've got just 2 player props today on the show. I'm looking forward to them, and hopefully we can cash these tickets and start the week off on a really good note. Buster, you're betting props again this year, right? Just a little bit low volume, would you say?
Yes, I am. I actually had a couple here and there. There was a couple I wanted to play tonight, but they both got out of hand. Especially Lehkonen. He's just got back for his third game. They were putting out minus 130, 150 last game. He's 200 tonight uh,
Wow.
against Nashville. So they catch on really quick. Sometimes what you like, Andrew, and what I kind of look for is these shot totals, and I know you do the same because we've talked about it. And these when they're 1.5, and we think they should be 2.5, and you kind of know they're going to 2.5. So
Mhm.
there's guys out there like that they go over that 1.5 for a while, and they still keep them around 150 or so, but they don't raise them to the 2.5. So sometimes I know you lay in a little bit more juice, but it's well worth it when at 1.5 they probably should be like 180 or something, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, those two look like a couple of plays that I might just go put a little pizza money on myself, Andrew.
I like it. Let's have some pizza on a Monday night. And like you said, I love those 1.5s. And it works with defensemen as well, Buster. I've gotten really into the
Yeah,
defenseman props. The books forget about those guys, right? They just don't show enough attention to them compared to the forwards. So some of those defensemen can make you some money. But getting into our last game here, I think this is a really good one. I'm curious your thoughts here on this one because the Vegas Golden Knights, I won't say that go on for too long about this, but Buster, I'm like you. I live, sleep, breathe hockey. I love hockey. I watch a million games. You and I both love watching. But as you know, I do look at the numbers and all these different websites and stuff like that. And some of these websites will say that Vegas, their defensive numbers aren't great. According to some of these websites I look at, Money Puck, Natural Stat Trick, these analytical numbers, right? And I faded them last Friday, I believe it was, or Thursday, and took the Seattle Kraken. Seattle goes down 2-0 early on. They come back and they get the win. But can this Vegas team lose back-to-back games? Will they struggle again? I'm not sure about them. But in this particular matchup, I don't know if I want to bet against Carolina off a loss either, right? We know how good Rod Brendamore is as a coach. We know what they're capable of, and we know how good of a season they're having. I'll be the first one to admit, I thought this team was going to take a step back this year. I thought, it was going to be the Rangers that are going to win the Metropolitan. It was no question about it. You take a look at this number for them, though, on the road, laying the minus 140. What do you think here, Buster? Awful loss for Carolina. We're usually intrigued, but they're on the road. They're in Sin City, Vegas. They're trying to get back on track as well. I'm curious what you think about this one.
yeah, Andrew, you had to bring up that. I already had that Seattle Vegas game in the rear view, but you had to bring that up. I did have Vegas that night, and we lose. You lose in the coin flip overtime. So it's one of those things. I actually did a free play video on it. So thanks for bringing that up, brother. Much appreciated. But I understand why you did bring it up, and you're right about this Vegas club as far as. They've been playing well, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's Hill. He doesn't look as good as I haven't totally looked at his numbers, but I don't think he's eye wise. He's not looking as good as he has in the past. There's no doubt about that. So that might have something to do with why they're allowing some goals. But I find this game, Andrew, to be a very tough handicap, and I understand why Carolina is favored. Anybody's watched these guys play? They're dominant. I mean, they dominate everybody. I know they lost to Colorado the other night, but geez, did they look really good? They just, and I shouldn't say they didn't get the goal because that goaltender, that Martin, he made a lot of good saves too. But their defense, they didn't play that well on defense, and I think that will really piss Brindamore off here. So I think you're going to see, maybe you won't see a better defensive effort because Vegas kind of plays wide open at home, right? But again, I think Carolina will be conscious of that. But in saying that, how can you lay that number knowing that Vegas hasn't lost the game? No, they've lost one game at home, I believe, all year. I could be wrong. I should. I believe they've lost one game at home all year, and Carolina did win both games last year between these clubs. But at 135, I don't know. That's just, I kind of want no part of the side, to tell you the truth. Even though Normally, I might tell you Vegas is a live dog, but because Carolina lost, yeah, you're right, Andrew. I want no part of this side. I do like the over here, even though Carolina looked rough on defense and they might try to tighten things up. I think it'll be tough against a Vegas club who have gone. Actually, Carolina's gone over 4 in the last 6 games, and Vegas, yeah, they're 7-1 to the over at home, and they're 11-3 on the season to the over. Last 2 games between the clubs, one went over, one went under. To me, there's just a ton of firepower on the ice here for both clubs. And I know Carolina, they're the number 1 shot team in the NHL, and they just seem to have 35, 40. At least they're just a very good club. So I think goals will come tonight. Another reason why I think goals will come, because Vegas has the number 3 power play, and Carolina's a number 8. So when you get teams that are fast and they're skating around the ice, you seem to draw a lot of penalties. I think you'll see a lot of penalties called tonight, even though I believe Vegas is one of the teams that don't get called on penalties a lot. I think that changes tonight. You see some power play goals. I like this game over 6, Andrew. Over 6.5.
All right, over 6.5. Buster, I'm right there with you, except for I'm isolating one team and one team only. That's the Hurricanes to get to that magic number of 4 at plus 105. The team total up and over 3.5. 8 straight games in victory or in defeat, this team has scored 4 goals. That is unbelievable. I mean, even when they lose games, they're scoring 4 goals. And you talked about it. I mean, that stuff scares me so much. You mentioned the Vegas Golden Knights, the success that they've had at home. Because that one thing I've tried to change this year with my handicapping with the NHL is I don't like going in front of strong trends like that. You know, a team that plays better at home, a team that's doing so well there. I don't want to go against it, but I just love getting this Carolina team off a loss. I love getting them off a loss. They will not be happy. And you got Jack Roslovic, you got Sebastian Aho, you got so many of these talented players leading this team offensively that maybe Carolina of old isn't the same Carolina of new. Maybe they are not the team that gets a lead and sits back on it and protects it. Maybe they're a team that wants to run the score up more. Everybody knows this Carolina team to be an under team over the last few years. I don't think that's who they are anymore. They are not an under team by any means. They've been involved 4-3, 5-1, 6-4, 8-2. The thing is, though, a lot of these high-scoring games they've been involved in, it's been because they're the ones doing the scoring. So that will actually be my show best bet here, guys, will be over 3.5 team total goals for the Hurricanes at plus 105. I mentioned those defensive metrics for the Golden Knights. I think that they're going to continue to see them slip a little bit defensively. They did lose a handful of pieces in the offseason, both forward-wise and, of course, defensively. And I think they're just a little bit tight at that position. They still have the great weapons offensively, but defensively, they might be a little bit of a different team. So, Buster, overall, we're cheering for some goals. Do me a favor, cheer for the Hurricanes goals. I'll cheer for the over, and hopefully the game finishes 8-2 for the Hurricanes, and we can both go home happy. But that's my show play, actually, that I planned on mentioning. So instead of mentioning it twice, I will just say that I'm on the Hurricanes team total over 3.5 at plus 105. And guys, a best bet up for me at WagerTalk.com tonight in the NHL. It's a pretty good slate, actually. I do like it. I got to play up for grabs, and you can get that, or you can use that promo code NHL150, NHL150 to take $150 off my NHL season package. Looking forward to a really, really good season, and we're on a 7-2 run with our last 9 plays. All right, Buster, what's new and exciting for you over at Wager Talk? I know you're handicapping multiple sports right now. The Grey Cup just around the corner in our beloved CFL. What's up for you this week?
Yeah, looking forward to that game on Sunday there. I'll be in Vegas, so it might be hard to find it somewhere with all the NFL going on, but I'll get somebody to throw it on a TV somewhere, that's for sure. Yeah, our show play for today, we were actually, it's funny how you mentioned that Roslovic for Carolina. We were going to use him over that 1.5. He's at 1.5. He's one of the guys I've been talking about. that they keep putting him at 1.5. But mind you, today you used to be able to get him 150, 145. Now he's like 170, 175. He's went 10 straight games going 1.5. He gets and going over low. There's a little extra if somebody likes to lay a lot of juice, which I don't. That might be a little play. So, anyways, our free play for the show today is going to be Nashville, Colorado over 6.5. When these teams get together, they just play overs. 7-3 to the over between the clubs the last 10. Also, and I'm saying this is unbelievable, but Colorado has played 9 home games this year, and every game in Denver has gone over the total, over this 6.5. So that alone, I think Nashville, we talked about it on the shows before, I think they have to open it up. They did beat this team 5-2 the last time they played, which was this year. So Nashville will get their goals to like the over the 6.5 here in Nashville and Colorado for my show play. We also have tonight is NFL Monday Night Football. We have a 4% best bet. Go over to WagerTalk.com, look at Don Buster, and you can grab that play. Also, as you said, Andrew, we have that great promo going. Use promo code NHL150. Get $150 off the rest of the season. That includes the playoffs, Stanley Cup, right there. Right, doing pretty good in NHL. Had a so-so week last week, but we had a great October. So, as from the charts I see, we're still number one the last 30 days in the NHL. So, you might want to grab that play if you don't want to grab the long one. Maybe try us out for a 7-day all-access pass in the NHL. And yeah, I think there's some good deals going on. We're looking forward to getting back on track here. We had the first week wasn't the best, but it wasn't bad. But just losing games in overtime, that will happen to you too. That kind of doesn't help. So, Andrew, I just actually want to thank you and Carmine for kind of trusting me to be side by side with you, because usually I don't get to do this just with you or just with Carmine. Usually you always have a couple other guys. So that was much appreciated. I think things went all right. I lost my train of thought in that last game, but hey, just trying to do the best I can. But again, thanks for having me on Monday. I appreciate it, because I wouldn't be able to make my Wednesday spot because I'll be in the air at that time. And as always, everyone, best of luck with all the plays, and have a great day.
Buster, you as well, man, and it's great working with you. You're always well prepared. So totals and sides. You give us both, and you got to love that. Not just one play, but a pick on the side and the total in most games. So we appreciate you coming with us on the show today. And Carm, we hope you're back with us soon. Hopefully see you tomorrow. And for all of you guys out there watching, please do us a favor, hit the like button on YouTube. Also, if you're watching on X or elsewhere, make sure you share with your friends, and let's all cash these bets together. Let's all have a winning day in the NHL on Monday. You can find Buster, you can find Carmine, you can find myself over at WagerTalk.com. We'll see you guys next time right here on PuckTime.